Hey, Craig Delisio here. Wanted to introduce myself and introduce you to my web channel, YouTube channel, interwebs, something. Hey, what is this all about? Well, as the title says, the name of the channel is I Shouldn't Have to Tell You This. So let me explain where this all comes from. So first of all, you need to know this. As you can tell by the gray hair, I'm old. I'm 60 years old. So I'm a late baby boomer. So the baby boomer generation ended in 64. I was born in 63. So I'm one of the few last youngest of the baby boomers. So you can go ahead and say, okay, boomer, if you want to, but sometimes we have something to say that's worth listening to. I have a daughter that's 26. So my daughter's a Gen Z. And she's kind of right on the cusp of Gen Z millennial. I worked at a college for 5 years. I have a ton of millennial friends, and I understand the difference and the situations you guys are in because my daughter tells me a lot of stuff, and she explains to me how things are so different for you guys growing up, and what is common sense and is knowledge that you all should have, and you don't. Um, it's a shame that you don't have it. And that's the point of this whole thing. And that's why I called it, I shouldn't have to tell you this. And I know it's funny. It should be. You should be laughing at that title. And I know that it sounds kind of snarky, and in a way it is. But I just want you to know from day one, I'm not saying that because I'm mad at you. Well, I shouldn't have to tell you this. Sometimes I feel that way. I'm going to be really honest. And some of the topics we'll talk about on this channel over the coming months, days, years, uh, are things that are pretty common sense, and I shouldn't have to tell you this. But for the most part, what I want to do is tell you this stuff because somebody needed to. Somebody should have told you this. You know, I was thinking today about how old was I when I learned how to change a flat tire? I was 12. No, if you want to talk bicycle tires, I was 8. You want to talk car tires, I was 12. How old was I when I learned how to gap a spark plug? 10, I think, 10 years old. Some of you guys listening to this right now don't even know what gap a spark plug means. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but I'm gonna because nobody else has. So I get it. So the dynamic has changed. So why has the dynamic changed? Well, there's a lot of folks out there that were grew up without their mom, grew up without their dad. I grew up without my dad. I had a stepfather, but he wasn't super involved. I didn't even meet my dad till I was 43. So if you guys are in this situation where there's a lot of basic information that you don't have, and it's because there was nobody in your life giving it to you, I empathize with you. Okay. So I'm not going to be raking you over the coals and calling you stupid. It's true that I shouldn't have to tell you these things, but I'm going to. So that's what this is all about. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but I'm going to. And this is basic life advice. We're going to talk about how to change the oil in your car, how to check the oil in your car, how to check the transmission fluid, how to tell if you need brakes, how to tell if you need an alignment, how to start a lawnmower that won't start, hard starting lawnmower, how to restring a string trimmer, a weed whacker, how to plant a garden. Um, there's a lot of, I'm going to teach you how to grill a steak because some of you guys and girls, nobody's ever told you how to grill a steak. I'm going to teach you how to make a really great Italian dinner. I'm going to teach you how to cut a piece of lumber with a circular saw. I shouldn't have to show you this. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but I'm going to because nobody else has. Somebody had to show me. Somebody had to show everybody that knows it. And that's what we're going to do here. And some of this stuff is going to be common sense. Some of this stuff is going to be not so much actions. I'm going to show you how to do X, but I'm going to show you why you should have this attitude about a certain thing. You're going to hear some different viewpoints from an older person. And granted, you may not like it, but at least maybe in a non confrontational manner, you're going to understand why certain people of certain ages feel a certain way. What experiences do I have that make me believe in a certain system of government or in a certain what makes me a capitalist or a communist or a socialist, whatever. I'm not going to tell you what I am because we'll get to that. But you need to know why. You can't just assume that it's all bad. See, you guys are only getting your education from one place and from one side. And the best place to get your education is from life. Okay. It's not from Fox News or CNN. It's not from school or from this or from that necessarily. It's from life, because life will teach you. And most of the time, life teaches you the hard way. If somebody can give you some guidance, it can make a little bit less painful. So that's what we're going to be doing here on I Shouldn't Have to Tell You This. That's the name of this show. So welcome aboard. This is my introductory video. We're going to get started this week. And here's the other thing we're going to do. Once a month on Friday nights, we're going to have a thing called Beer with Dad. Now, what's the title of that come from? The only time I ever met my father, I was 43. He came down to Tennessee where I used to live, and we had lunch together. And he asked me, well, what do you want to do now? Now we've met, where does this go? And I said to him, I said, I don't want to go in the backyard and throw a baseball around. I'm not 10 years old anymore. Can't saw sawdust. Can't relive the past. I'd like to have whatever relationship that a man has with his father when he's 43, which is what I was then. You know, I said, I'd like to have a beer with you once in a while. There's lots of times in the last 20 years that I wish I could have had a beer with my dad. And that's what I told him. And he said, yeah, you know, I wish I could too. His dad died when he was 15 years old. So on Friday nights, once a month, we're going to sit down and do a live thing here on Yahoo. And YouTube on the channel, do it live, have the chat bar open. I'm going to have a beer and we're going to just talk. You guys can type questions in and ask me stuff, and I'll just tell you. We'll just have a beer with Dad. I'm going to have guests, interesting people that can teach you some stuff, give you great advice. My plan, for what it's worth, and I don't have all the answers, but maybe the only thing I can do is help you look for them. I have a lot of answers, though. I'm a smart guy, and I've been through a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. So I'd like to teach you how to learn from my mistakes, if nothing else. I'm going to have some interesting people on here to teach you some things that hopefully help you avoid some of the pitfalls that are out there. It's tough being you guys. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of distractions. And, but I'm going to do my best to help. And I hope you join me. And if you know anybody else that can join us, that can learn from this, join. And if you want to, email me below, CraigD2599 @gmail. Start sending me questions now. Let's get to know each other. And you know what? I shouldn't have to tell you this. See you.